Houston. It's been a long time. Now everybody gonna play my funk. See your mama, come on, move that junk. Yup, Southside going pop trunk. Coming down with my swag in the punk. Old school gun feel this track. Yup.
But we don't know yet. We don't know
Will
yet.
it be like a combo deal? You don't just know. I mean, I know just speculation because you don't know.
can't even
I mean,
answer
that's the
that.
hope. If we got to do it, I would hope it could be with the flu shot, but we don't know yet.
Okay.
You know, Jermaine,
Okay.
we don't even know how long it lasts, honestly.
Right,
That was one of my
exactly.
questions initially
And-
when I was thinking
yeah.
about maybe waiting on getting it. I was like, how long is it gonna last? And the ID experts didn't know.
Yeah.
They couldn't give me that answer. And I just finally was like, all right, I'm just gonna have to just deal with not knowing.
Ding, ding, ding. You actually just answered my next question. So
Yeah.
500 to Ray.
So, with Ray, with COVID, they didn't have antibodies past what, 4 to 12 months sometimes on the long end. So even if
Right.
you had the disease, you're not sustaining immunity, which is why I think we're going to need boosters every year. But
Yeah, usually it was like
Yeah, the
our
boosters.
patients have been there like 3 months. About 3 months, I tell them that if you've had COVID, you can pretty much anticipate maybe having antibodies for about 3 months. Beyond that, you can get it again,
It's not
and we've
sure.
had people
You don't
getting
know.
it a second time.
Oh, that's very important to know.
But when people have had the disease and they still want to get the shot, they're making them wait 90 days after they
We are.
recovered,
Okay.
and then they go
Yeah.
get the shot.
They
So
go
that's
get it.
about
So
right. 90
It's a
days,
little
3
mandatory
months.
minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a mandatory minimum. That's actually, thank you, Joanna. That's a great segue into my next question. Yo, I got the shot, or I didn't had it. Yo, I'm chilling. I'm ready to go out and start kicking it. Can I still pass it? Does anybody know that?
You can still catch
Without
it
flavor.
and you can still pass it, but
Pass it.
when you have the shot, you're gonna have the flu shot. You get that doesn't mean you're not gonna get the flu. You just hopefully you're not gonna get as sick. So that's what. And so the thing is when I got my shot and I posted it, I did the obligatory, sitting there with my mask on and the shot, and I'm like, I'm still gonna wear my mask and I'm still gonna do the social distancing because it can still be caught by me and passed on like to my son by me. So I'm still gonna do all these things to keep myself and my family safe.
Okay. Anybody else want to add to that?
But they are saying that you can be around other fully vaccinated people without a mask in small groups.
Yeah.
Or is that for
Yeah.
familiarity, like family members? You've been at, yeah, I get
With family members, you're around each other anyway.
you're good,
Without
right?
anything.
So
If,
just,
if they're in your
But I'm
bubble.
still wearing, right, if they're in our bubble. Like, I'm not going to the party. Now, I am going to restaurants, and I am doing that. But you're at your table with your partner.
with your bubble people.
Yeah. Or
Right.
if you're at the bar, it's still a little separated. It's not, people are still wearing their masks.
okay.
So it is, I'm not
Yeah,
going
it still
to
makes me nervous
party. I'm not,
because
I'm still wearing everything.
I've been around some family members, and I mean everybody's vaccinated. So my in-laws, my parents, and so we've been around them. And the older people, if they can take their mask off, they're gonna take it off. They just don't even want. And so I have to come in with that. But I told my kids, even though you guys are vaccinated, you still need to be careful because they're playing sports, they're going to school, and I'm always worried about them being carriers to
Right.
the elderly.
The older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're exposed. They're exposed. I'm exposed in the hospital. My wife's exposed in the hospital. It's
Right.
it's still dangerous.
So I guess the bottom line to all that, better to be vaccinated and
Yeah.
and being around, but also still have some of those gates in place to safety gates to be like, hey, still wear your mask, still kind of limit
Right.
the contact. But it is good to be able to see and hug your loved ones. So I totally understand with that. And with that came a whole nother deal, right? Mental anxiety with the older generation. I know my grandmother was going through it because we really couldn't really see her, and there was a lot of family stuff going on, and she felt alone, and and she would break down sometimes. So I know that there's a lot going on with that. The question was right on it. I had it right on tip. So you were talking about getting together and family gatherings. Robert, I know you and your people from the Lou, y'all like to get together
But
and throw down. And
but it's
look at
just
that
my
beautiful kitchen
immediate
behind you. Y'all like to get down
family.
and throw down in the house. What are my
Yeah, but
concerns about cooking and with COVID? And is there any concerns about that
nothing that I've heard about
that you've
cooking. I
heard,
don't,
or
nothing that I
preparing of
know of.
food and anything like that? So it's safe to say you guys can get together and do your thing, especially if you're in the same little,
And I bubble. Like I said, I'm talking, dad, brother, sister, niece. It is like very limited, and maybe aunts, but it's limited.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
not
Joanne,
like
I've
the
been to,
whole family.
yeah.
You know.
Joanne, I've been at some events, and I don't think we've had any issues with being around and cooking and hanging out with your folks and your people. So I don't think
Yeah.
that was one of the questions that came up from our viewers. Was a little concerned about that. So is there any drawbacks to
About what if somebody
preparing
has COVID
food
and they're
and
cooking?
yeah and all that? So
What's interesting? What's interesting is when COVID first came out, they said when the sun comes out in the summertime, it's gonna burn off, and we learned
Yeah.
that's not, that wasn't
Mhm.
true. And then we found out, they said it was from bats, right? And so the bats, and then it's like, well, then we learned, okay, well, bats have a really high body temperature, and the virus survived in their bodies because their body temperature is very high, and it survived in their bodies. So then it's like, okay, well, if you have COVID and then we don't know you got it, and then you cooking and you coughing over the food, talking over the food or whatever, then would the heat of the cooking of the food kill it? We don't know. So,
so that goes.
you
We
got
probably
me.
still under that pile of we still don't know. Wait for the
We
sun.
And that's why
for the
you
day.
have to stay within your bubble and just be really careful. But the other part of that is people were concerned, and that's why so many people in even the fast food industry lost a lot of money initially, because people were like, I'm not gonna go get food cooked by someone else because they didn't know.
Right.
And what we found is that it was okay. It was okay. You can go to Chick-fil-A and get you something to eat. You should be okay. And we haven't heard, I mean, I don't know if Dr. Love or Dr. Moore have heard anything, but I hadn't heard anything about somebody getting COVID from going to get some McDonald's.
I haven't.
So
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm not.
guess,
I'm not gonna throw turkey leg under the bus. But the line is probably.
hey man, that's one of our sponsors. Chill out, dog.
Edit that part out.
I just know where my people go. That's all.
I know, boy. Oh, no, that's interesting. That may have been a dated question, but I'm pretty sure a couple people probably had some thoughts about that. So no worries. And I think I come from IT background, and one thing that I worked was my specialty was functionality, and the functional part is what we do know. I think that we do know. We have to be doctors that bubbles they work, right?
right.
We're seeing that in the NBA and sports and in your own small family. So we know that works, and I guess maybe do some expanding from there.
And let me add something else, not just bubbles. You said that mask work.
Mhm.
And I don't know about you two. I can count on one hand how many flu cases I have diagnosed this year
Right.
because we're wearing the mask.
Hardly
More people
any.
got vaccinated
Yes.
too because they were scared, but masks work if we wear them. It
Oh my
works.
God, that's a great point. I
Really.
actually was one of the
On my
questions.
hand, I can
Yes,
probably
very
count
good
how
point.
many I've had.
Very good point.
The
Same here.
impact, it's kind of like the inverse, quite like COVID up, flu's down, or is it the same? So that's what you guys are seeing.
Yes.
I'm not seeing the flu
Mm-mm.
at all. I'm telling you, on my hand, I got
Cold,
and
flu,
got fingers
something.
left over probably. I
That's
have
like
not diagnosed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
same
So
thing with
basically-
you.
works.
Basically, people was nasty beforehand.
Right. Well, we weren't gonna
I mean,
okay.
and
Yeah.
I'm going to say this because Dr. Love, I'm going to say this. My thing has always been that in my practices with my nurses, I've always said if they even look like they got the sniffles during flu season, put a mask on them.
Mhm.
And it
Yep.
depends on the culture of the people that you're working with, is whether it's urban or rural, and all these, and how you communicate as to whether or not the patients, can get comfortable with the idea of I'm here and I'm not feeling well, I'm coughing, I'm sneezing, I'm snotting all over the place, and Dr. Fields Gilmore wants me to put on a mask. And so it was really for me, it was like, yes, when we saw that everybody wearing a mask and you have very little flu. And I was like, masks do work. They really do work.
There'll be a lot of
I
studies
was
coming
really
out.
excited to see that.
I bet.
Okay.
So we just hold on and stay masked up. We'll be all right.
Now everybody gonna play my funk. See your mama, come on, move that jump. Yup, Southside going pop trunk. Coming down with my swag in the pump. Old school gonna feel this track. Yup.